Okay, so we have some updates in the Lori Vallow case, and we're going to look back on a few of the finer points, Lori's finer points, and that is totally tongue-in-cheek, during this incredible time span that we're looking at from when Charles Vallow was killed by Lori's brother. So in the legal shakeup, we reported on her judge being petitioned to step down, and he did that Friday. But then there was some question about her attorneys. Well, 2 of her 3 attorneys have stepped down. There's also been talk of why is she still in jail? Well, the bail bonds companies refused to work with Lori. So we're going to take a look at that and again look back at Lori's troubling behavior. So let's go see what we have here. So 2 of the 3 attorneys for Lori Vallow stepped down last week, Brian Webb and Edwina Elcox. Now, if you remember, Edwina was arguing for Lori when they were in court about how she was fully ready to be involved in clearing her name. She was innocent, and she was, really rallying for Lori. Well, she's gone now. And so is Brian Webb, and they've given no reason for their withdrawal from the case. She has 1 attorney left, and that is Mark Means. And he is the one that filed the motion for the removal of Judge Farron Edens. The judge agreed to remove himself Friday, and Lori is still in jail in Madison County on $1 million bond. Why is that, you might ask? Well, no one wants to work with Lori, so get out your violins because, this must seem totally as unjustified to you as it does to me. I mean, why would they not want to work with her? She's never disappeared or anything before, has she? Oh, yeah. So, despite Lori being all smiles when the judge that she then had removed reduced her bond from $5 million to $1 million on March 11th, the owner of a bail bonds company called Bandit Bail Bonds in Rexburg, Idaho, is telling a major media publication why he thinks she's still locked up in jail, which I'm sure is driving her absolutely insane. And this owner is Guy Chafin. He says putting up the money to get her out is a $1 million risk. Goes on to say, I think that's a lot of risk to ask somebody to take for her. Despite the assertions from Vallow's defense team that have since stepped down, Chafin notes that she had to be extradited back to Idaho after police said Vallow and her newlywed husband, Chad Daybell, abruptly vacated their home last November and wound up in Hawaii as the investigation focused on them. There's going to be a really, really high risk of her running, he said. Chafin said his Rexburg business had not been asked to cover the bond for Lori Vallow's release, but 2 other bond companies said they were approached by her representatives, and they told that to East Idaho News that their businesses declined to work with her. Get out the violins. Now let's look back at Lori, because she really is quite a piece of work here. So on the same day that Alex Cox shot and killed Charles Vallow, Lori's ex-husband, Lori threw a pool party. That's correct. You heard me right. July 11th, 2019. She was not even fazed when talking to the police about what happened, right? She joked with them and laughed with them, told them about Tylee's plans for college, that they've only been there 3 weeks, and they didn't even really know the neighbors, as she chuckled. And then Alex Cox was playing it up, dabbing at a wound at the back of his head that certainly didn't look like that of a baseball bat wound from Charles Vallow, who was very in shape, and if he hit Charles Cox on the back of the head with a baseball bat, he would have a lot more damage, police think. So, investigators. But Lori went on to host a pool party later that afternoon. Now, Annie Cushing, who's Tylee's aunt, thinks Tylee could have been asked to go along with this allegedly concocted story to keep family members out of jail. Well, that's her take on it. And then we know that Lori told her stepsons, Charles's sons, that their father was dead through a text, and didn't even respond to them when they, asked her questions about it. She was very delayed in responding to them, and then responded to them in text. Not very nice. We've covered that in another video. You can go back into playlist and look at that if you want more details. But yeah, not really cool. Not at all. Not empathetic to them. Just cold, calculating, and probably what you'd expect from Lori. And another non-empathetic moment, Lori returns JJ's service dog. So Joshua, JJ Vallow's autism service dog, Bailey, was picked up by the training facility at Lori's request. You see, Charles Vallow got a service dog for JJ about a year and a half ago, almost 2 years ago. The dog was a golden doodle named Bailey, and JJ and Bailey soon became best buddies. Now, Neil Mestis, the owner and head trainer at Dog Training Elite, said Bailey, among other things, helped JJ sleep through the night. His recollection is, when we got to that point in the lesson, the Vallows said that was one of the first nights JJ stayed in his bed and slept through the night because he had Bailey in bed there with him, said Mestis. Bailey became JJ's companion dog as well as the family dog. And Mestis went on to say Charles was an incredible dad. Nonetheless, about 1 month after Charles was shot and killed by Lori's brother, and JJ's service dog was put up for sale for $2,500. A golden doodle, fully trained service dog, $2,500. We can see that he's up to date on his vaccinations. He has been trained with children in the home, a non-smoking home at that. Bailey is sweet and friendly around other dogs, and he's looking for new owners who will appreciate and love him the way he has been loved. Why can't he be loved by JJ anymore? Spent $7,000 on service training. He is a full-bred golden doodle. Has experience on, Okay, Lori. So Lori tells half-truths about things. We know that sometimes she tells quarters, sometimes eighth, maybe less than that, maybe nothing. But Mestis received a call from Lori in August, and she said that, they were moving up north. I think she said Idaho or something like that is his recollection of that. One of her daughters was in school in Idaho. She said they were moving up there to be with her. And so I said, okay, let me see if I can find a home. And she said, I need you to come get him right now. And Mestis went to pick up the dog to help them out. He said that Lori told him that Charles passed away, but didn't explain what happened. And then he later learned that Charles had been shot to death. Bailey is now with another family, helping a boy on the autism spectrum. The transition was smooth, he said, and Mestis said that the Gilbert police called him after Christmas and asked him about the service dog in connection with JJ's disappearance. So that was just another one of her lovely, actions. And we will continue to follow up. Now the postponement in the case due to Lori and all her legal upheaval, instead of something happening this week on the 18th and 19th, it's going to be postponed until the first week of May. So we'll see what happens.